Please, sorry, is it possible to get this code?
Get it.
Let us share it as how we come.
Leave the camera, leave the camera, leave the front of my camera.
Give me one. Give me one.
Alright, can we start?
Yes. Yeah, good to go.
What press conference delivered this day on the 11th of June 2022 on the topic Sovereignty of the Benin Throne by Emerson Amupeso, Socio-cultural organization. One greetings to all of you seated here today. An event that brought together different socio-cultural groups in societal decadence. Also to chart the great Benin people have lived in the concept of free, the king and the people. And it is in this cycle of elements one of the greatest civilizations was built. Enemies understand these immortal elements of connection. Hence, they are poised in using the same existence. According to them, when you poison the people, they rebel against their king, and therefore, but they forget to understand the existing in other form of realm. When we kill the throne, we are inherently killing ourselves. However, Edo is insurmountable. As a result of this press conference of our people, to kindly retrace their steps. Father, but his father remains his man and woman, and he's willing to forgive those who have committed infraction against the throne. We should always remember the throne is us, only existing in another realm. Whatever offense we commit that same offense against our very self. The present day Edo State government, in truth, ought to be the first ambassadors of Edo culture and heritage, and was supposed to work with the palace in a bid to push in the return of our stolen artifacts, that he will undermine the power of the to the Benin royal court. Undermine the constitutional power of the governor, and he never will. Only that those who are drunk of power, thousands of years older than theirs, we will rather give our utmost patriotic and selfless loyalty of God and our ancestors is not time-bound. We will never support any government against our throne, because it is our duty as true patriotic Ladies and gentlemen of the press, let's now go straight to the cruise of today's press briefing, having given a background of what led to why we are all gathered here today. The sovereignty of the Benin throne. The Benin throne is the bulwark of it encapsulates. It is a rallying point as a people. The king, the spiritual and justice in the kingdom. Thousands of supplications from loyal subjects who still believe that the king. We are forced to ask, how come that an institution that has been anachronistic can be so vibrant in a modern 21st century? The secret is coming to terms the Constitution, which is the highest law on responsibility that is visually unassailable. With the political reformers, whether self-styled Democrats or progressives, have had concerted effort to stock up a stock of contemporary political ammunition and unviable reforms to debase our cherished culture and tradition. Of course, there's nothing new in this picture, and certainly nothing unique to politics and democracy that we as a people have not witnessed since our independence in 1960. However, the insurmountable sovereignty of the and the unifying bound for the Benins and all. The Oba is the author and the preserver of the invaluable precepts and practices in the administration of the state. Edo state government growing concern state government in aiding the criminal activities of the hence the refusal of the state government to vividly state it clearly visible by the Oba of Benin as a chieftaincy title under the royal leadership of the Benin Traditional Council as stated in the 9th and Chief's Edit. These misguided Ogiamen bandwagons has continually falsely claimed that according to degree number 37 of 1968 chieftaincy order, that Ogiame is recognized as a traditional ruler. A closer look at the said degree stated otherwise and rather referred to Ogiame as a chieftaincy title, thereby invalidating the provide an archival material preceding 1968. We have a letter that was addressed to Oba Akenzwa II by Chief Edo, who was the then Chief Ogiame of Benin 1939, begging to be recognized as a chief like several chiefs in Benin Kingdom. May I crave the indulgence of this press to read out that letter. Ogiamen Quarters, Benin City, Wednesday 9th of August 1939. Omonoba Nedo, Akenzwa II, Ukwa Kolokolo, Benin City. Copy, the district officer, Benin City, and the resident, Benin Province, Benin City. Garaumo. I humbly submit this appeal government, or either take pride over the Omonoba, or do I concede on this occasion for indulgence of recognizance and the distinct chieftaincy amongst the Benin chiefs? May the Omonoba live long and myself live long, his faithful and loyal subjects. I am not with these raising heel against the present Omonoba of Benin, nor would I, nor my descendants, nor any member of my house raise heel against the Oba presently and futurely. I will be a loyal subject of the Oba of Benin until my life's end. But only one thing, I humbly claim certain recognitions of myself and my descendants or every head of my family. In the support of this my claim, I hope the Oba gratefully do justice to my request, and in support of myself, as I have previously said, that by virtue of my birth and history, I need certain recognition for mercy's sake. I refer the Omonoba and the residents of the letter paragraph of page 9, 10, 11, 15, and 16 of a short history of Benin by Chief Jacob Owade Ararewa, the Oba Hawaii Benin, a member of the Royal Society of the House of Iwebo. Point number 7, my ancient people are unsatisfactory with my ruling. Therefore, I am rejected, and neglected. But my people, and now I am craving through the Omonoba for recognition. I may not be considered worthy of this post, as my ancient people has fully degraded me. But may it please the Omonoba to gratefully consider my condition and not suffer me and my house to remain in a state of penury. Should the Omonoba consider me worthy of the Oba's recognition and the honor conferred on me, may I beg the Omonoba for primacy of this recognition in my house. The history has supported my claim, and I leave everything to the mercy of the Omonoba Akenzua II, who has the interests of his people at heart. Omonoba knows best. Oba Gatokbe. I remain your most obedient and faithful subject. He's right. Chief Edo Diobiame, which was also witnessed by a son called Obaze Edo Obiame. This is the original document. From the letter, you can hear one of the ancestors of these misguided lots pleading to be recognized as a chief of His Royal Majesty, only for his progeny 80 years later to start a status aided by state the obvious and bury this matter once and for all. Criminal have the letter here. To the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice of Edo State, wherefore he referred to himself as both Chief Obiame of Benin Kingdom and Utata, and the stated letter surreptitiously didn't agree that Obiame is a chieftaincy title as only recognizable by the Benin Traditional Council. Instead, alluded to his independence from the Benin Traditional Council. We are therefore now surprised that with this obvious show of arrogance and falsehood exhibited by Arisco or Semige, that the Attorney General of Edo State conceded to his deception through a letter dated 13th of April 2022. Let us take a closer look at the content of the said letter. Arisco or Semige was addressed as a chief. We therefore want to ask, under which law was a Semige made or recognized as a chief? As well as the Obiame of Benin Kingdom, recognized by the Benin Traditional Council. Point number 2. According to the letter, quoting from the letter now, the General wrote in reply of the criminal Arisco. His Excellency, your letter of April 2022. In the interest of promoting peace and concord within the state upon the following conditions. Official statutory position as recognized under our traditional rulers and chiefs law and legal notices. The excerpt clearly stated that the Edo State government of the Arisco letter dated 4th of April, wherefore he alluded to his independence from the Benin Traditional Council and further recognizes the position of Ogiame chieftaincy title. We therefore want to state it clearly that it is not within the jurisdiction of Edo State government to recognize any chieftaincy title in Benin Kingdom until it is conferred by the Oba of Benin and ratified by the Benin Traditional Council. In this whole context, we therefore call on the Edo State government to it should be that the Ogiame chieftaincy title is a title only recognized by the Oba of Benin, and that it is not an independent title, and that it belongs to the class of lower Uzama chiefs in Benin Kingdom called Uzama. Function to the palace of the Oba of Benin was to carve a traditional stool for every new monarch, as they were good wood carvers. Only when these facts are stated clearly to the public is not aiding the criminality of these bad wagons. For the purpose of clarity, let us now look at some aspects of history that have been badly bastardized by these bad wagons for the purpose of the future. The Kyokbaga Treaty. Just a minute. This was the treaty between Obayewedo and the Ogiame of that era. We are all aware that when Oromiyan returned from Ile-Ife as the rightful heir to the throne of his grandfather, Ogiso Owodo, it was met with a strong resistance from the Ogiamean family, having been given the regency right of about 70 years, that our exiled prince, Ikaladeran, of which the Yorubas of that era knew as Oduduwa, spent at Ile-Ife. Sit upon the throne of his ancestors. But because of the greed of Evian and his progeny, they fought earnestly to deny Oromiyan his rightful place. A move that led the Ejon to build a palace at Usama, from where Oromiyan ruled Benin, but not for long. His son Obayeweka I, as well as Obayeweka's first successors, Uwaekwai and Ehemie. Oromiyan's great-grandson, Obayewedo, who later realized that as an Oba, his authority over his people must be absolute and not sectional. In the knowledge of such, it transversed into the heart of Igodomigodo from the peripheral Osama quarter along the present-day Siloko Road, which the Ogiamean family had already colonized. Ladies and gentlemen, let it be known this day that the last fall of Giso's palace was not at Umundum. The quarter of Giso A moved the palace to after his grandfather built the first known palace at Ugbefu, but rather at Ogbe. The quarter that the seat of the Oba of Benin is till date. Hence, in history, it is called Ogbe Ogisho, which as at today, the present day Oba Ovorame Square. When Obayewedo manifestly encubered in his bid to build the palace in the heart of Benin, a battle broke out, which led to Obayewedo mercilessly defeating the Ogiame and his warriors. It was as a result of the wisdom of diplomacy that informed Obayewedo to graciously have a treaty with the now humbled Ogiame so as to allow peace reign in his kingdom. The treaty was of mutual benefit, where a portion of the land now being presently occupied by the Ogiame people for the period that Ikaladeran went to establish kingship in Ile-Ife, as well as the years from Oba Oromiyan down to Oba Ehemiyan ruled at Osama. In totality, this period lasted approximately 157 years. This period was enough for the Evian progeny to lay claim over a land that in the first place wasn't theirs. Ogiame's jurisdiction was therefore reduced to Utanta, Sokwamba Road, from the beginning at present-day Asoro Street to Iriyeneva Moat, present-day Third Junction. When these people currently come out to claim Utanta Kingdom, it therefore means that they are referring to the beginning of Sokwamba Road at First Isekula to where Sokwamba terminates at Third Junction, which inherently means that Chief Ogiame is more or less an Ojonwe of Utanta Sokwamba Road. That's a fact. To further buttress the point that Ogiame was never much an important figure or a stumbling block in Benin history, Obayawedo created the first known title outside the Ejion called Nia Sowa, now abridged as Iyase. And that title was referring to the supremacy tussle between the Oba of Benin and the Ejion of the kingdom, of which Oleya is the head. So from here, you can see that Ogiame was never in any tussle with the Oba of Benin, other than the treaty of the right to hereditary succession and not ownership of land. To further expatiate on this, of Oba Semede, who felt she was denied of the throne, later struck a deal with his younger brother, Oba Adolos, to make the title of Osula hereditary. When the title was bestowed upon one of her sons, the same issue played. When Ogiame realized he has lost his relevance as the Ojonwe of Utanta, he therefore struck a treaty with the Oba to allow him retain. The Ogiame title was traditionally and officially created by Obayawedo, and in later years was added to the Uzama Nibie, a group of lesser Uzama, of which Ogiame is the fifth in significance, by Oba Esigi. The reason Oba Esigi added Ogiame to this junior Uzama was a move to spite the Oleya, because the enmity was as a result from Ile-Ife and finally placing the Ogiame family where the right. Because of that act, Ogiame himself retaliated by creating his own Oleya. The Ogiames themselves were opportunists, as the land they occupied in those 157 years belonged to the Ogisos. Majority of the Obas didn't observe the Ekyopara mock battle because of the insignificance of the practice, which is more or less a ceremonial practice during the coronation phase of the newly crowned Oba of Benin. The generosity of the Oba of Benin influenced his decision in considering the title of chief. That was so because we recognize the services of Evian to his. It is regrettable that to the Ogiame succession. The general who saw the then head of blacksmith who lived in Ogbe Ibuya, them to Unweru, where the battle ended, now Asoro Street. Obayawedo was at Ekyopara, where Ogiame finally surrendered to him. The violent leader was subsequently conferred with the title of Iyase at 1255 AD. How then did the vanquished Ogiame not determine the terms of the treaty to mercifully grant him the right to a hereditary succession, so as to remain relevant within the sphere of his. The Kyopara Treaty is a complete ruse created from the imagination of these unlearned people. If there was a treaty that was signed and the Ogiames earlier insinuated of Oba Adolo, Prince, knowing fully well a part of the treaty was no intermarriage between plead for His Royal Majesty. As a result of this overwhelming fact, also rendered the Obiamian title useless, as in the first instance, it was the one who gave the relevance to that title. We therefore plead for His Royal Majesty. As a result of these overwhelming facts, to abolish this Ekyopara Treaty, built on deception and title useless, as in the first instance, it was the one who gave relevance to that title. In conclusion, our race was created by God Almighty with every sense of wholesome in our minds of the world. Unfortunately, we lost that freedom to self-advancement, courtesy of the British invasion in 1897. The building processes started once again by Obaeweka II after an interregnum of 17 years. Today we are faced with the tragedy that instead of the Benin to rally once again with their king to build another great future, even greater than what we lost, we are now joining forces with those who in the first place had brought us to our present state. We need to, and sooner than later, we can take our rightful place in the polity of the world affair. Oba Edo Oba, Waya Wase. The legacy of our past shall endure forever through us. Oba Ratokbe.
Umoku Atokbe. Atokatile.
Thank you very much. Everybody that are present here, members of the press, there is one or two questions we want to ask. Please make it brief as in response to them. Please, one or two questions. Okay. Your name and your medium, sir.
Good morning. My name is Patrick Gano. I work with Blue newspaper.
You have a copy.
You don't have a copy of the letter?
Yes. Your colleague will give you.
Your colleague will give you
No, not that one.
Not that one. Talking about the one criminal arrest code. You want the criminal arrest and after the general.
If you want to send to your WhatsApp number, you can also provide the number. You can point to your WhatsApp number. It's not no question. Please, any other question, please?
Please ask question.
The message is very clear. The message is clear. Message. So
I don't know if you oblige us the opportunity.
Okay. The message has been adequately delivered. We want to make it go better as much as possible. As we have said, Benin Kingdom and not the Benin Kingdom and its and we will resist any attempted attempt our heritage. What happens? As a matter of fact, we are ready to lay down our lives to ensure that nothing touches our common heritage. We are ready to protect it.
Yes.
So, not just the press conference, It's a warning to anybody
Enemies of the
that think can create
It's hard to imagine.
division in the kingdom. We have one home, one father.
Yes.
That is the Oba of Benin
Benin Kingdom.
and the palace of the Oba of Benin, wherein every one of us can take refuge any day, anytime. So the more we agree with that, the better for all of us. Where many people that are seated here in this conference today, we want to appreciate all of you for coming. We are going to be updating you. We are going to be updating the Benin people, the Benin nation. This is our common heritage. Please be at alert, be on guide. When the chips are done, Benin are known for war. We are warriors. And women, like the ones that are here today, who still have that warrior-like spirit in them.
We are warriors.
My mom,
Our war.
my mom, my little
All right, gentlemen of the press, let me pay this proud tribute to my president. My name is Dr. Prince Nosaka Esoni. I'm a direct descendant of Oba Esoni, and I majored in African history. I backed my PhD in African history, there, and at the present I lecture African history. I am surprised that things like these are gradually folding. Even we acknowledge the fact that that nobody is a very serious. I am aware